people, Howard, when we are in the process of buying new home, how can I use Feng Shui?
Okay, I would start with the real estate mantra, right? Location, location, location. Okay, you need to find a place in the location that's suitable for your needs. For instance, if the children are growing up, you need somewhere where the good schoolings are. When you get older, you need healthcare. You need to find somewhere where there's a good hospital, good health care facility. But in the same time, buying a house is always an investment. So it's best to buy a worse house in the best street than to find the best house in the worst street. Okay, and then you go into a bit more detail, right? You look at the places that are facing the warm sun, either facing it or the back of it, right, has warm sun. If you buy them a house that doesn't get sun, then you is in trouble. And then the next thing you look for is the external Mingtang, right? You need to buy a house where you have a broad view, right? That you can look out, Chinese say bright hall. So once you find that, that means nobody will go in front of you or behind you to block your view, right? So I would buy a house, for instance, next to a golf course, right? Next to the sea, which you can afford it, right? Next to a lake, you know, place with open space, even with school, you know, right? Or even a car park, because car park is very quiet night time. At least you get an open space, you get the chi to come into the house without blocking it, right? Then I will go into the planning of the house. A house with increasing degree of privacy, right, is better than a house that you walk in and you have to walk past the bedroom, right, to get to your living area, right? And then of course you need to buy a house that's suitable for your needs, right? You don't want to buy a house that's too big for your needs, and you don't want to buy a house that's too small for your needs, right? And then once these decisions are made, often you need to listen to your own heart, right? Because, you know, in your mind, in the way things happen, the house is already there waiting for you, right? The right house. And all you have to do really is be patient, right? And sooner or later, right, if you have patience, right, the right house will come up and say, hey, you need to buy me. It never fails. If you allow a bit of time, a lot of people rushing into it, right? And don't make decisions on small things that you can't, like the color of the kitchen, you know, you buy the house because I like the color of the kitchen, you know, or the toilet, right? I love this toilet, right? It's not worthwhile, because you can replace this, right? But you cannot replace location, and you cannot replace the house entirely without spending a lot of money, right? So buy a house that you can figure out what can be charged and what cannot be charged, right? Choose the things that cannot be charged to suit your needs, and don't worry about the things that can charge, right? You can just make charges later on, my renovation. And everybody does that. Everybody take possession of the house by making some changes, but just make sure the change is not expensive. You know, especially plumbing, right? Plumbing is very expensive, right? So make sure that the toilets and stuff like that, kitchens in the right place, because you can always replace the kitchen. You can always change the basin, right? But to pick up the ground, the chance of plumbing would be a little bit difficult, right? And then also plan for the future. Plan for the future that you know, if you know children, buy a house. You can plan. You can make some extension, right? And if you got children, it's already in the way of growing up. You buy a house to make sure that this house can shrink down, or this house can be replaced, right? You sell it with a good value and buy a smaller house. So always think in terms of future as well as the present when you buy a house.
Thank you.